By giving, people will be helping Nationwide Children's Hospital find cures, brighten patients' holidays, and people will be able to support their neighbors when they need it most. When they donate, they will activate in real time a butterfly-inspired light show for patients this holiday season. They will add holiday cheer to the lives of kids who really need a reason to smile. No one wants to think about their child being sick, but should that day come, the donation they make this year could help the care their child could need in the future. Please give now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
Get ready, Ohio. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to the Buckeye State. And to kick things off, you can get started with $100 in free bets as an early sign-up bonus. Plus, when you sign up today with promo code OhioSB, you'll be all set for when FanDuel goes live in Ohio. Then you can bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports with $100 in free bets. Just download FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Ohio, this is your chance to get in on the action. Join today with promo code OhioSB. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Ohio. Bonus issued in non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Ohio on 1/1/23. Unique user identity verification required. Offer ends on the go-live date. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It didn't listen to me. It walked out of the thicket. It turned around and looked at me.
They looked up, and in this tree, there was a monkey man. And the monkey man jumped down out of the tree and started running away.
And suddenly, they're right in front of the car. He slams on the brakes and manages to stop. And he's skidding because it's like quite, gravelly. And literally for about a second and a half, they just stood there because they don't know where to go. And you tell them panicking. They're like nothing. And their face is like twitching.
Welcome back to Bigfoot Society, a podcast where we focus on cryptids, the strange, and the unexplained of this world. If you've got a story or something weird to share, send an email over to me at bigfootsociety@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support this show, head on over to patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society. And now, on with the show. Well, all right, Bigfoot Society, thanks for coming back. I've got another episode for you. I've got Justin and Jay from Cryptids of the Corn podcast. These guys are some of my new favorites. I had the privilege of meeting them in person down at Cryptid Con. But how's it going, guys?
We are living the dream.
Yep. Another day in paradise.
Mm-hmm. Bought quails and mealworms today, so always exciting.
Yes, we did.
I love it. I'm psyched to talk to you guys. You guys are rocking it on Cryptids of the Corn out there in Ohio.
All right. So basically, I think we'll go first if you're okay with that.
I love that. Let's do it.
How did your podcast come to be? What kind of got you going with it?
Wow, that is the question for the ages. So Bigfoot Society is a podcast that I started back in February of 2019. And, when I was a little kid, I was into watching weird stuff with my dad, like In Search of, that whole story you've heard a million times, that's my story. But then when I got a little older during high school, I was kind of like, I was out of it, But then when I got around 2018, 2017, I got involved. I worked at Apple with a few guys. We got into talking about weird stuff. We found out there's a cryptid right next to Des Moines called the Van Meter Visitor. Mm-hmm. So I got involved with my buddy Andrew, who was doing the filming for Terror in the Skies by STM, Small Town Monsters. Mm-hmm. And he's like, dude, come with me and check this out. This is going to be awesome. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And I didn't know what he was going to have me do is be the guy off camera asking questions so that they could film it. And he's like, just come up with something off the top of your head. And because he had me do that, out of that situation, I found out that I actually love doing this. and I really love the weird stuff, the cryptid stuff. So I combined that all together, and eventually I was like, dude, no one has to give you you know, like, you don't have to ask permission to do this. So I was like, let's do it. So I literally just started talking in my phone using the Anchor app, and it's kind of evolved since there. You know, I talk to different people every week about all sorts of weird stuff, a lot of Bigfoot stuff, you know, as in the name.
Right.
But that's how I got started. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a lot less alcohol involved than how we got started.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We pretty much were. I came up to the bar one night. I was kind of on a rip.
Okay.
And I walked up to Jay. Jay was my bartender. And I was like, "Do you believe in Bigfoot?" And he's like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah.
Like, and we talked, and then we kept talking, and then eventually we started a local Bigfoot club,
Which was our Bigfoot Society.
Yeah, the
For
Hardin
real.
County Bigfoot Society.
I love that.
And then everybody got busy, like the core members. It was just getting really hard to schedule stuff, and it just ended up being me and Jay sitting talking anyway. So eventually we were just like, "Oh, let's buy this little $100 kit off of Amazon
Yep.
to start a podcast." And it was horrible, and it was great.
Yeah, I'd say both, all wrapped into one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we just had somebody. Who was, I can't remember. Sorry, whoever's listening. I know I try to give out shout outs names. Say they just went back and they loved the first episode. I'm like, you could hear German shepherds barking. A cat jumps on the table while we're recording. Nick's wife comes in the room, and you just hear walking through the background of that audio. It was horrible.
But it's like it's those episodes that got you to where you are right now, because I have the same thing. My first 5 episodes are rough, and it's literally just me talking into my phone while I'm waiting to like do Uber trips in downtown Des Moines, and you can literally hear like cop cars coming by the back of my car. But like my listeners, they love those plays, like, you know, to see where it came from, and then
Where it started.
Now it's today, you know, I'm talking to people like, you know, I just interviewed Mark Marcel, 2-hour interview,
Awesome.
And that's coming out in a few weeks. And that's like, I'm able to talk to all these people, and I love it. It keeps me going, man, you know? So.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's almost a message to anybody out there doing anything they want to do. Just go out, just start doing it. Just start doing it and get the ball rolling, and it'll take you where it needs to take you. But you've got to put the effort in and just do it.
Inspirational Jay.
Yeah, start somewhere. Every journey begins with a single step.
Oh, Jay, you're so good. No, but those early Cryptids of the Corn. So like literally I can talk to those because after I met you at Cryptid Con, those I was like, man, I got to listen to these podcasts. So like I binged about 3 or 4 of them right off the bat. Those kept me awake during the plane ride back to Iowa. They kept me sane,
nice.
actually. But they're really good. Like they're not rough. They're good, dude.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't believe it, but thank you. All right, what do you got for us?
All right. So, Justin, first question from me is for you. Okay.
Oh gosh.
And actually, this is kind of a weird situation because you both are there, right? So if the other one wants to chime in, I'm not going to stop you from chiming in. Okay.
Okay.
But Justin, here we go. What episode of Cryptids of the Corn so far has been received the best by your audience in a way that you weren't expecting? Was there has there been a sleeper episode where you're like, whoa, where did this come from? You know?
Yeah, I definitely think it's our organic UFO kind of trilogy.
Ooh.
Just because I know I was really passionate about it, but I even said when we started recording them, like, it's especially the second one in the 3 so far we've done, because I'm just like, I know I really am excited about it, but it's just such a weird, like, I got a lot of pushback from the UFO community. I got a lot of heat. They did not like it. And literally in that episode, I say, like, this only represents, what did I say, like 5% of UFO sightings or something like that.
Yeah.
This is a really small section of UFO sightings that are what I feel are organic, like creatures from the upper atmosphere. And everybody loved it. I mean, it's blown up. I mean, we were just on Appalachian Intelligence for it.
Oh, wow.
Talked to Tony about it. And we have It's just like it gained its own life. And it was so definitely did not expect it. I didn't even think people would like it. And it's all 3 of them in our top, 5 episodes.
Yeah.
But it definitely gained out of the whole show. It gained its own life. That was a weird one. I guess I like it because I'm glad everybody else likes it because I get to keep talking about it.
Right. Exactly. It is fun to talk about too.
It's stuff like that is so weird. Like those episodes that people just like, hey, you could write a book on that. I mean, it's like, but that's awesome. Jay, do you agree as well?
I definitely agree with that. But what came to my mind was our Mothman trilogy.
Oh gosh.
Because we recorded that over 2 days, over 9 hours of content. And I just, when it was over, we publish it all. It's like, that's a lot. No one's going to want to listen to that, like all of that. And then most of the people we talked to, they're like, oh yeah, we loved your Mothman and listened to it. One guy even said, listen to it like 3 times each.
He listened to it 3 times.
Like each episode. And it's just, that blows my mind. It's like, wow.
Thousands of people listen to that whole thing.
Yeah. The whole thing.
I was like, nobody's going to listen to this.
So that one like really shocked me that it was well received that well,
To that note, it's like what annoyed me about other people doing the Mothman stuff is that it was very singular.
Okay.
You just get how did I put? Basically, they already have their ending point they want.
Right.
And they just give you the path to that point. We didn't want to do that. So we just gave everything. You got it all the weird stuff, all the poltergeist, all the, all the entities, all the, UFO sightings. Because the Mothman was definitely not the star of the stuff when it was happening.
Right. A Point Pleasant.
It was not the big thing. And it was the big deal in Point Pleasant. They seen so many UFOs during that flap that they got bored of them. People stopped caring. There was UFOs seen every day hovering like 30 to 40 feet above ground in some areas.
That's
right.
Wild.
It's like, you imagine seeing that and just finally like day 72.
Being bored of it.
Not caring.
It's like whatevs. Yeah. Whatevs. Yeah.
I've seen that thing for a year. Yeah. I threw a rock at it the other day. It turned purple and vibrated. And so we stopped doing that.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one, Jay.
Yeah. That's what popped in my head first.
Dude, I love it.
Just from the experiences of, meeting people at like conferences like Cryptid Con, you never know what someone's going to tell you. And sometimes you're just shocked by what people reveal, who's listening and what episodes they like.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Everybody at home, we are just drunk people from Ohio. If you approach us, we are not celebrities. That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
I just feel like I'm not like people wanting us to sign stuff and like people driving long distances to meet us. And it's just like,
we're just some guys.
Yeah. Like, come to the bar.
Thank you to the people that do, man.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah.
You guys rock. You guys rock. And like, meeting you guys in person, you guys are the most down to earth dudes. You're right over by the mountain monsters, literally. Hanging out with those guys. But, dude, when I have a booth at the Van Meter Visitor, I love it when people come up and, this one guy, Pat, was like, dude, gotta tell you about this Bigfoot sighting I had a town over south of here, back in the 90s. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. Bring it on, Pat. Dude, that stuff rocks.
That's the best part, probably, is just getting those stories before they die, because most of the time those encounters die with people. They die.
No.
Now I'll tell you a quick little story if you want. Right. Our first logo art, Harry and the Bigfoot in the cornfield, we call him Harry. That was one of the first encounters that ever got told to us. And the guy that told us to us he will not admit it was a Bigfoot.
Right. He does not believe.
So here in Northwest Ohio, on harvest, the corn, is easily 6.5 to 8 foot tall. 6.5 is a bad year at harvest, taking corn down. And we often run combines at night, all night during harvest, just because to get it in. So the guy that gave us the encounter kind of came up to us and he's like, real aggressive. You believe in all that Bigfoot crap? And we're like, yeah, we do. Like, it's not real. I'm like, all right, that's fine. But I did see something weird once. And he proceeds to tell us that when he was combining that night, they have everybody at home that may not know, they have really big, basically stadium lights on the front of them.
Oh, yeah.
Hit stuff in the cornfield.
Yeah.
And we live in a college town, so the college kids do all kinds of stuff out in the cornfield. So he is not a stranger to having people in the cornfield when he's harvesting.
Okay.
But he's telling us that he's like, this is really weird. It's like, I seen a guy stand up and run. And he's like, that's not what's weird. What was weird is his shoulders and his head were above the corn the whole time he was running. And I'm like, yeah, and we haven't said, like, do you think at all it could have been a Bigfoot or anything? Like, oh, no, that's all bull crap. That don't exist. That don't exist.
I said even faster than anyone has ever seen running before.
Yeah. So I don't think it was Shaq and Usain Bolt out there.
Yeah.
No.
Could be.
Probably not.
Could be, but probably not.
I mean, it could be Shaq, but he's not that fast.
That's true. Yeah.
You got to remember that.
He'd be tired.
But yeah, that's how our first logo came. And we actually had the logo before we had the name.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
And stole it from Children of the Corn.
I was like, I really want to ask him that. So here's a funny story. I'll tag this on. So this is the first time I heard of you guys. So I'm trying to think of I do a podcast for the Patreon where I talk about like what I'm investigating in Iowa. And I'm like, I gotta come up with a name for this. I gotta be really punny and clever. I was like, Cryptids of the Corn. This is gonna be awesome. And then I was like, you probably should check because someone probably already has that. And I looked it up on Apple Podcasts and I was like, son of a gun. I was like, oh, these guys are actually good.
Oh,
that's awesome.
So, very nice.
So it ended up being called the Iowa Files instead. But
Iowa File sounds pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Cryptids of the Corn is like it's one of the best names I've ever heard for it's so fun.
It is fun, yeah.
Little PSA for all the people thinking about starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Make sure you can spell your name very easily. Because that's a big thing with like typing in to get hits and stuff on search, like all on the podcast apps.
Yeah.
Because that was Jerry from Hillbilly Horror Stories.
Yeah.
He's the one that told me that. So it really helped us, I feel like, to have that nice, easy, rememberable name. Because you have some of these shows that have really awesome names, but I can't spell.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be a bit wordy too.
If I have to type it in more than 3 times to figure out what it is, I'm probably giving up.
Also, buy the URL for the website, even if you think that it's not going to turn anything, because someone will buy it and then you will. I'm not going to go into it, but it'll deal with a lot more than $10 a year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Just buy your URL.
Just buy it, guys. It's $10 a
and
year.
I don't know for you, but copyright here in Ohio, I think it's $110. Like we copyrighted our name immediately just because it was like, we don't have to deal with it. I mean, I'm sure you listen to Derek's show, Monsters Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
You remember him talking about his early days with that copyright claim?
No. Oh,
he had to change his original name. He was Here Be Monsters.
Oh no, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
So after that, I was like, we just get it copyrighted and just not deal with it.
Wise words on this podcast for sure. Should we go on to the next question?
Yes. Whose turn is it? I don't remember.
I think it's mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. And listeners are probably like, no, he's wrong. Anyways, whatever, guys. I appreciate
I'm wrong a lot.
We'll roll with it. It's all good.
Jay,
yes.
What is I appreciated what you were wearing at Cryptid Con.
Oh, my tinfoil hat.
Tinfoil hat. So what is your favorite tinfoil hat topic?
Oh,
what do you just love?
Oh gosh.
Oh, I guess I could be very specific. 9/11 always interests me.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That one's a pretty deep one to
Dear
just
heavens.
dive right into.
How old are you guys?
When that happened?
27.
Okay.
When it happened, or now?
Were you alive when that happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool.
I was in 3rd grade, and they put it on the TV.
I was in like
college.
6th grade.
Mrs. Butterfield. I was in Mrs. Butterfield's class.
Oh, wow.
3rd
Okay.
grade.
Yeah.
I remember it all because they got us out of the cafeteria, put us all back in homeroom. And I remember Mr. Clausen, the principal, they were all discussing with the teachers whether they should show it.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, yes, everybody needs to see this.
Mm-hmm.
And they put it on.
Yep.
Yeah, like that one. And yeah, we lived through it. And it's kind of crazy going back and thinking through those days, and then moving forward to like, research you do now and stuff like that. Just some things are just weird.
Now, I want you to be very specific, because these are why we don't touch these topics on the main show very much.
Right. Yeah.
You deal within the motives of the act, not the actual questioning of the act.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because there's some people that say people didn't die.
No.
And I don't want you to be lumped with that group.
Obviously not that.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Did pass away.
Yeah. It was awful day. Day. But yeah, what led up to it or what the motivation was behind it.
That's what you're questioning.
Yeah. And that's where the conspiracy part can come in. But I mean, like, to reflect the wearing of the hat, more or less, like the alien talk, the space talk, things like that, interests me a lot. I think there's I just think there's a lot of information that's out there that is all misdirection. Some things that just might seem like fantastic, crazy stories, are just there to mislead you, just so you don't know the actual truth. Whereas in the truth they might be telling you as well is also not the truth, or what the main narrative you're being told. But I think there's a lot out there that's thrown out there as conspiracy that is just there to also mislead you and misdirect you, to take that focus off. Stop, it's not this main thing that's going on. It's just like a misdirection. And then once you go down that rabbit hole deep enough, and now you're lumped into this group of people that will believe anything, and and you're still further away from the truth than you ever were at the beginning of it. To begin, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, I totally get it, man. That's a good answer. Yeah. For me right now, it's Egyptian civilizations in the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm desperately trying to find someone to interview about that. So if anyone is listening from Cryptids of the Corn audience or my audience, and you're like, I know about that, I wrote a book, please email me, bigfootsociety@gmail.com. I'd love to talk to you.
We don't know anybody, do we?
Not any experts or anything, just like people that casually would talk about it maybe, but nothing like research heavy. I don't know anyone.
It's very niche.
Joel wasn't into that, was he? Not as in he's researched, I don't think.
I think we've talked about it.
But I don't think he's like done a deep dive into it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I thought I may have known somebody.
I mean, that is interesting how some of the mountains and structures are named after, Egyptian places and cities in Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. There's a lot of weird.
And then that story of that guy finding that cave down there that had like Egyptian artifacts and mummified remains.
I just know it's one of the best places to find razorback suckers.
I don't know
which is a fish. It's a fish.
Okay.
They're critically endangered in the U.S. and they live in the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Like kissing pigs or something, or I don't know.
Have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?
I haven't actually.
I've been there once as a kid growing up.
Okay.
We went out west, and we went to the Hoover Dam and then the Grand Canyon.
Oh wow.
It's huge.
Jay lost one of his brothers in it.
Yeah. No, that's not true. He's lying.
It's a high price to pay.
Yeah, worth the experience of seeing the Grand Canyon, though.
You have to sacrifice one of your kids. Feed the hole. Feed the hole.
Feed the hole. Yeah.
All right, I got a question for you.
All right, pal.
Now, this is one I'm asking you because I know our answer for it. So this is kind of a double-edged thing why I'm asking it. What do you feel is your, maybe not least successful episode, but the one you didn't like the most, or the one you had the most problems with, or anything like that? What's the episode that sticks out in your head of being, man, I didn't like how I did that, or man, because I definitely know what one we have. Well, what ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know which one it is. And this is crazy. And this is not reflecting on, I'm going to preface this by, this is not reflecting on the person at all. Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought that the audio in the Todd Neese episode, where I interviewed Todd Neese, was really rough and not up to my expectations. And it's my highest downloaded episode of all time. And I'm like, people love it. I'm like, dude, imagine if the guy had a killer mic. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's nothing on Todd's a great guy. But yeah, that's the one that comes to mind right off the bat. Also, one of my earlier ones, I talked to Shane Corson, and I was very green still, and I didn't feel like it was like really like I love Shane's awesome and the stuff we talked about is awesome, but it didn't have like I was expecting like the magic, like you don't get there until you're a few years into it, but like people really like that one too. So you never know what's gonna really hit. It's weird.
Mhm.
You just gotta go with it and do the best you can.
It is funny how that works though. Like the ones you have the least expectations for, just like really do well.
Yeah.
Jay already knows what one I'm going to say is definitely our worst episode, and it's our fault. It's very much our fault. It would be the Hodag episode, and it still does great on downloads.
Oh no.
Well, we were like, we need to record an episode, and that's before we had a schedule and everything down. Like we were still real. I mean, we're still new to this, but that was when we were really new.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that was the end of November. That was like episode, I don't even remember, early season 1.
Right, yeah. It was a learning moment though.
Yeah, it definitely was. You can't drink and do this. So we had a cornhole tournament. So Ohio cornhole tournament.
Yeah.
We're probably there for 6 or 7 hours, drinking heavy. And I mean heavy. I had 2 buckets of Reds.
Oh no.
Plus a lot of Crown Apple shots. And Jay was right there with me.
And I'm not, I was drinking a lot too. And I'm not a very big guy, so it does
I have
take its
150
effects.
pounds on Jay.
He's 2 of me.
Yeah. So
wow.
So it was, and we were drinking hard.
So we got the bright idea of, hey, let's record an episode. It'll be fun.
It was like there because at that point we had 20 listeners.
Yeah.
15, I don't know. And they were like, a couple wanted a drunk cast because we had talked about doing it, and they put on the Facebook page they wanted to hear it. We're like, I'll do it the Hodag. Well, we get to the studio and we were like, can't sit in the chair. We were still drinking, and I remember like first 2 or 3 minutes in the podcast, I was just like, this is so fake. About to fall over. We're sharing a mic.
Oh no. Stage. Yeah.
It was horrible, and friggin' everybody loved it.
Well, I found out, not at first they didn't, because we found out like, what was it? A few days later, we checked on Anchor.
Yeah.
We could see like the listen time, literally like 5 minutes, and it dropped to nothing.
Yeah, oh gosh.
And we're like, oh, what happened? Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're like, oh, this didn't do good. And then like when we probably the first time we kind of blew up in May, then it got a whole bunch of love. Because I think we had done a lot more serious, like normal, like more of our format now episodes by that point. So when we started doing conferences and meeting people and stuff, and people started going back to the backlog.
Yep.
It was like normal episode, belligerent Northwest Ohio drunks, normal episode. And I think that's why people kept going back to it, because it was just random, just this one episode.
Yeah.
We are completely blitzed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I'm trying to read my paper, and it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, it was a learning moment. Don't do that again. It's not going to work. No matter how great of an idea it sounds at the time, it's not going to work. Did you guys ever
watch Dignation? That's probably before your time.
Mm-hmm.
So there used to be, back in like the early before podcast days, there was like a web show called Dignation, and it was these 2 guys that would talk about tech news, but they would be blitzed the whole time. And it was massive, because it's like that whole drunk history thing.
Right, yeah.
But people, it's tough on you, but people love it.
That's awesome. But yeah, we've drank on episodes now, but we've never pre-gamed 7 hours for an episode.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, guys.
That was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then people love it. Every time we go.
It's just fitting it was the Hodag, Wisconsin episode.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the drunkest state.
Yeah,
they have the suckiest mounds. The suckiest mounds, Wisconsin.
Can someone like make a Wisconsin postcard, some graphic designer that's listening, in like Wisconsin, the suckiest mounds?
Pear, I know you were going to listen to this. Make that.
Yeah.
He's our graphic designer.
Oh
yeah.
The gauntlet is thrown.
Yeah.
Pear, I'm talking to you. I don't do this very much in our episodes at all. So this is a direct message to you. Make that.
Make that
I'll probably get it. I don't know when this will come out, but I'll probably get that like 2 days after.
randomly.
Mhm.
Gotta
So-
love it. Gotta love it.
I believe it's your turn.
Well, let's go. Yeah. So let's see. We're up to a Justin question.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. What is Bigfoot?
Ooh, okay. I got a good answer for this one.
All right.
I think there are 2 tall, hairy creatures currently that look ape-like that are currently existing on planet Earth, or two types. I had a Bigfoot encounter. The one I had the encounter with was very much an animal. It ate grain out of our horse bins. It took chickens. It did animal things, and it acted like an animal. And long story short, it ended with my dad shooting into the trees above it, and it taking off, and it was this whole big thing. But that thing fully was scared of the gun. When the noise went off, every action that thing did over that like 2 years we had the encounters with it, it was always an animal. But we've had people talk to us. We've had people on the show that deal with this more spiritual or supernatural Sasquatch.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think you have either, in my personal opinion, you have the relic hominid, which is what I experienced, the creature that is maybe close related to us, maybe not. I don't know if it's Gigantopithecus, but it is a flesh and blood creature that existed here, came over the first time the land bridge was formed in like 46,000 years ago, something like that, when Bob was just a kid. So came over, and then you have the Fey folk Bigfoot. Okay. So this creature, this entity, Fey folk all across the whole planet are famous or infamous for presenting themselves in the way you want them to present. So whatever energy you're putting out there, that's how they show their self. So how many people go in this woods or go out in the deep dark places, and they expect or kind of have that back of their mind, they want to see a Bigfoot, or they have this idea that it's lurking around every tree out to get you. And then you encounter the Fey folk, and now you have a hairy human-like creature, but it has red glowing eyes. It runs off the cliff, doesn't fall. It's here, then it's there, then it disappears, and then it reappears. It phases in and out of trees. That I completely think is a phenomena that looks like the flesh and blood Bigfoot, but is not related whatsoever. I really am a firm believer there's these 2 things that look very similar, and one of them looks like the Bigfoot because of us, because we put these images out there. A lot of the Native American stories there's some, that's a big statement I just said. Some of the Native American stories make it is most of the time it is described as either a lost tribe, but very humanistic, super strong humans, but very humanistic characteristics. There's not a lot of supernatural stuff besides like the strength and the speed attributed to Bigfoot by a lot of tribes. They are, forest guardians, earth mothers, they get names like that, but they're not phasing in and out of trees in most stories until basically white people got here with the fairies from Europe, or the idea of fairies from Europe. And we started getting these stories. And I really think that the Fey folk that are native to here, are what we're seeing, that are the red glowing eyes, the Bigfoot that's here or there disappearing. So that's a really long answer to a short question, I guess.
I like it though. That is a great answer. If no one's thought that through in their mind, that will bring them on a journey for sure. And I like that. That's good stuff, man. Good stuff.
I was terrified. The one we had was terrified of that gun. The one we had ate grain. Like if it's interdimensional, alien, whatever the other side is, it wouldn't need to do any of that. It was acting so much like a territorial animal that it just didn't make sense if it was something extra. But there's people I firmly believe that have told us their encounters with the supernatural, the Bigfoot with red glowing eyes. The mind speak stuff and everything like that. I believe them. I don't think it was the same thing I seen. It's not the same entity I encountered. Because that thing was definitely scared of a gun. We were scared of it.
I really like that because, a lot of people, it's almost like everyone thinks like, oh, it's either an ape or it's a Skinwalker Ranch portal person. And it's like, why can't it be 2 two different things or two different variants or like it seems like everyone is thinking like it's either my way or the highway with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh
like,
gosh, it happens.
yeah, dude. But I like that. It's good stuff, Justin. Thank you.
So what do you think Bigfoot is? This is my question. I'm just rebuttaling.
Yeah. Personally, from I've talked to people on the side, NAWAC, those guys. I've talked to the Olympic Project guys. I've talked to, your guys like Tobe Johnson from Owl Moon Lab. Those guys. So either sides. Personally, what I think we're dealing with is some sort of like undiscovered great ape, but I preface that by saying I cannot explain when people are like going through a portal or going into a tree or like, I mean, that stuff blows my mind and I don't know what to say to it, but if I had to choose like what I think it is, and I've said it other times before, like, I think that especially in the PNW in like, Ouachita Mountains of Oklahoma, like I think it's some sort of weird undiscovered ape and like these pockets of, it just blows my mind. That's what I want it to be anyways. So,
I love it. Yeah. All right. Your next question. What has been one of your favorite interactions with a fan/listener? You don't have to pick. I know you don't have to pick a favorite. I said one of your favorites.
Yeah. That's a really good question. Shoot. I'm trying to, this is tricky. I haven't had many, so you would think it wouldn't be hard. Because I'm just starting to get into the conference circuit, like this at Cryptid Con was the first time that I was able to actually meet a lot of people in real life, which is very awesome.
I know you were busy.
Best. It was actually pretty cool. I was able to meet a guy named Jake Dressel, who listens to the show. He also listens to Shannon's show, Shannon LeGros show. But he was like, I gotta tell you my Bigfoot story. And he was telling me the story about like how he saw this like small Bigfoot and stuff. I was like, man, this sounds really familiar. And then he was like, oh, you may remember the story from like the Ken Gerhardt book about Bigfoot. I was like, no way, you're the dude. That's crazy. Like if you read Ken's book, like this guy's drawings are actually in the book. Oh, actually, I got a really good. I gave myself some time.
There you go. Now you got time. Yeah.
I got. So I'm gonna try to be really, really. Okay, so I live in a small Iowa town, and I'm walking my kid to school, and we're walking back. We're almost to home, and in the movies when like the kid is riding up on like the '80s bike. And he does like the, I hear that. I was like, hey dude, what's up? And he's like, dude, are you Bigfoot Society? What are you doing here? I was like, well, we kind of live here. And he was like, oh, cool. Bigfoot Society rocks. All right, see ya. I was like, whoa.
That's sweet.
Like, it got to the point where like I've been in the local gas station and like, this guy came up to me. He was like, oh, dude, Bigfoot Society, how's it going? I'm like, this maybe has more reach than I thought it did. Like, yeah. But yeah, shout out to Pat. You're the cool dude. So those are the most fun that come to mind.
That's awesome. Yeah, the 80s bike skid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got one, and Jay, you can give one too after I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going to take Ricky and Austin.
Oh, okay.
These dudes drove at Cryptid Con this year. Drove all the way from Atlanta, Georgia to meet us.
Bravo.
Like that was their goal.
Oh, wow.
And it was like these guys made a beeline into us. I'm like, oh gosh. And so shout out Ricky. Shout out Austin. Love you guys.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yep. And Ricky is the father. Austin's the son. But Ricky kind of walks up to me and he says, I drove 800 miles just to tell you this. I'm like, oh gosh, what? He's like, it was a sandhill crane.
Oh,
And I
no.
flipped out.
Oh, no.
Because there was in our Mothman saga, right in the middle of it. So he listened to the whole frickin' thing. I get super upset and I throw a pen and I break a pen on the door in the studio. And I just started laughing. He started laughing. It was funny. But no, that's kind of mine. And we've had a lot of great ones. So everybody at home, don't feel bad. We gave you shout outs.
Right. Yeah.
Dude,
Mine's probably
fantastic.
Mine was probably up on Bigfoot and Brews when we did that. I mean, in general, just people opening up to you and telling you like their personal
amazing
experiences and stories. That's my most favorite part with all this. But we had one up, this lady up in Jill up in Michigan. She was telling me stories that just were blowing my mind. Wow. And then she went and showed me, like, she did like drawings and stuff of things that she experienced. And like her drawings were awesome. Showed me a bunch of her cool art and photos and things like that. But that whole experience was it was really nice. Like,
yeah,
it was cool
for you.
Yeah, it was cool. Like,
sucked for me, but
yeah, because I left Justin alone at the booth for a while, but he had company.
2 hours.
2 hours, my butt.
Dude, that's a long time.
We can ask Joel.
It was
Sean,
not. Yeah, you can ask
they went
them.
and looked for you.
Yeah, it was.
They
not
got
that
worried.
long. Maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Kill the Mockingbirds podcast was hanging out there with us.
Okay, yeah.
It was awesome. Like,
that was a ball.
Yeah, and great conference. But yeah, I mean, just those experiences, meeting people, and just getting their personal stories that they're not gonna tell anyone, and they're not gonna. We always ask them, "Well, you want to record it? We can record it," and they're just no. I don't want to record it, but you
just want to talk about it.
Yep, and you can tell they're sincere, and we can tell. You can tell when people are kind of talking their own stories up or elaborating a little too much.
Oh, totally.
Don't you say a single name.
You just know when some things are afoot, I guess.
You're horrible.
No, I'm being serious. I mean, not just even regular people that will come up and tell you stories of things that they've seen or experienced, and you're just like, okay. You can tell, I don't know, there's just a different energy when someone's being sincere and honest.
Absolutely.
And when they're just kind of stretching maybe their truth a little bit too much. That's probably the nicest way to put it.
Speaking of that nature, not the falsehoods, the real genuine stuff.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I'll tell you one more story.
I will love it.
Our first conference we ever did was Ohio Bigfoot.
Okay.
We got set up in a premier spot due to just hanging out with Robert from You Big Apes. He's a really great guy. Love Robert. But Robert takes good care of Cryptids of the Corn. We actually call him Chief of Cornstalk.
Nice reference.
He makes a lot of our stuff for us. But Robert put us in a really nice spot. This guy, we're right by the front door. This guy that does not look like he wants to be here pays his entry fee.
And
he's just wearing kind of hunter clothes. He looks super uncomfortable. Keep in mind, Ohio Bigfoot this past year was like 11,000 people.
Really?
Yeah.
That was big. Yeah.
Ooh.
Very packed.
We couldn't move for 10 hours. We talked constant. But so this guy comes in right off the rip, right when it opens. He looks super uncomfortable. He kind of sees us, comes over to us, and he just kind of starts asking about Bigfoot. He's like, well, I had an encounter. He's like, I was walking up a hill in Egypt Valley, Ohio. I don't know if you ever heard of that, anything with that.
No.
That's one of the craziest places that, like, for weird stuff, not just Bigfoot, but weird paranormal stuff.
Okay.
Egypt Valley in Ohio is like super funky. I don't go there just because it's more of the supernatural than the physical happens there.
Yeah, I'd say that more supernatural.
Right.
So he's like, I was hunting in Egypt Valley, and he's like, I was on the ridge going up. Something kept running at me, something kept running at me. He's like, it sounded like a bull, but I'd never seen anything. And it would stop like 10 feet away and then back up and then do it again. And he's like, I just couldn't wrap my head around it because I'd never seen it. There's nothing there, but I can feel it and I can hear it coming at me. And then finally it went off over to the other side of the ridge. And he was really shaken up and really freaked out about it. And we're just kind of like, well, that really sounds like an Ohio Bigfoot bluff charge. So Hocking Hills, Ohio, which is about 60 miles south of there, maybe less than that, probably 40 miles south, is famous for those kind of encounters where these really, really high intensity, scary encounters
Mhm.
Nothing really happens in the end, but they're terrifying encounters. You know, the tree shakings, the rocks whizzing past your head, the false charges.
Bluff charges. The main thing.
So we tell him that, and he's like, it probably was a Bigfoot. And I'm like, I don't know that, but that's what it kind of sounds like. And he's like, is there any laws about shooting them? And we're like, I don't think there's any laws about it.
Yikes.
But I've heard a lot of people say they've shot him and not a lot's happened besides making him mad. He's like, all right, I'm going to go kill one. And then he just left. He left the whole conference.
No.
And he never got a hold of us again.
No.
But he just needed that little bit of somebody to tell him, no, you're not crazy. This happens. I think he calmed down. I'm going to guess he calmed down when he got home. That somebody, because that's all he wanted. That's all he wanted that whole day was somebody to tell him, no, that happens to other people.
The JCPenney Mystery Sale is back for the holidays. Through Thursday, usher in huge holiday savings with our in-store coupon giveaway. You can get an extra 30, 40, or even 50% off while they last. Simply find an associate for a coupon, then peel to reveal your deal. Hurry in now to discover the savings you've been wishing for. We got your holiday. JCPenney. Coupon valid on select styles through 12/15. Exclusions apply. Giveaway in-store only. Must be 18 years or older. See store for details.
It's Macy's Gifts You'll Love to Give sale with great deals for everything on their wish list. Like 50% off cozy coats, jackets, and vests for her. Perfume and cologne gift sets for $50 and under. And shop specials like 20 to 50% off the season's hottest toys from Bluey, Melissa & Doug, and more. Plus, everyone gets $10 in Macy's money for every $50 spent. Now through Thursday at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Like other people have experienced the same thing. And I get that feeling because I didn't talk about my Bigfoot encounter for probably 5 years. Because we didn't know that other people experience this stuff. We're in Northwest Ohio. We're not known for Bigfoot.
Sure.
I mean, we don't got anything. We have corn. So I feel like he was kind of in that same boat where he just wanted somebody to tell him, no, you're not crazy. Other people experience the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And once he got that, he left and he had paid his entry fee. He walked right back out the door. We never seen him again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll see him this year in May. Hope you're still alive.
I was literally just thinking that. I was like, what if the plot twist is he tried to go do it and it took him out? And that's why you never heard. Hopefully not.
We'll find
Hopefully
out in May.
not. Yeah, we'll see if he shows back up in May.
Fingers crossed.
If he comes in his pink orange jacket, I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Unless he's a ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, ghost, nice.
Mm.
I believe it's your turn.
Okay. So I'm going to read the question and then I'll do a shorter version of it to kind of clarify what I'm trying to get across because it's going to come across weird. Is there a topic that you've covered on your podcast that has taken on a life it's all of its own and has really affected your own life outside of the recording studio, i.e. something like Hellier?
Oh. Yeah, I got you go ahead. You go first.
I was going to say the
You want to take that one?
The mushroom UFO.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Just still my life, but
Is that what you were going to do?
no.
Okay. Yeah, like the fungi UFO,
Oh gosh, that really did blow up.
something like that. That's probably been, again, that was Justin's mind creation, but I think he's really onto something there. But there may be some UFO like organisms living in the atmosphere that are, fungi or funguses. But just to bring that into our own life, because we talk about it now, but now we're actually outside when a mushroom pops up. We actually talk to them a little bit because they might have some intelligence to them. So, you just you just might, throw out a conversation to them, and you never know if they're listening or not. So we're just nice to them. And I guess that's changed a little bit in my life. Like I said on our last show we were on, I'm not going to run up and go kick a mushroom anymore and just like launch it as far as I can. But now we actually sit and we'll talk to one.
I don't mow them over them in my yard at all.
Yeah.
Emily was complaining because I had a big hen of the woods in the front yard this year and like honey mushrooms. And I just would avoid them because the grass was all patchy.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Joel Thomas Nephilim portal babies thing. That took us to places. I mean, that's how we met Tony Merkel.
Oh, wow.
That's how so Joel Thomas came on our show. Was that the second? No, that's the first time he came on the show. Joel's a really good friend of ours. We love Joel. Hanging out with him we're hanging out with him next week, and then we're going up ice fishing in June. But he came on our show, and he talked about the Dogman documentary he did, and was fine.
Yep.
We did an hour on it, no problem. We did an hour, no problems. And then he started talking about that kind of thought. I don't know. Have you heard any of that stuff with him?
The Nephilim stuff?
The Nephilim, yeah, his portal baby thoughts.
Not his. I mean, I've listened to Blurry Creatures before. Shout out for Blurry Creatures. But I don't know anything about, actually, I haven't gotten to that episode yet. So
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And it's out of my wheelhouse.
Okay.
Not saying anything. Joel's got it all, like, he's got a lot figured out that I don't understand because it's really not my thing. So if that makes any sense to anybody at home, it's like when it's just not your subject. He knows so much about that, and it's way out of my wheelhouse. So he starts talking about that. Instantly, we lose all power to our recording software.
Oh no.
But here's the thing with our recording software, we use a Zoom PK4 with a battery pack.
So
there you go. So if it becomes unplugged, it still records for up to 2 hours.
Yeah.
It didn't come unplugged, and it wouldn't turn on.
It just completely shut off.
And it wasn't the outlet because the computer's plugged into the same outlet. We can still see Joel. And then I had to unplug it, plug it back in, turn back on, start it back up. So we skipped over that subject. It was fine. I didn't know this, but he was on Eric's show, Uncomfortable, the previous night.
Okay.
And had similar popping. He had popping noises, and he had similar power failings. What did they say? Like 16 times?
10 plus times.
Yeah,
Really?
10 plus times with StreamYard, wasn't it? Or was it StreamYard or Zoom?
I can't remember which one they used, but either way, it kept shutting down.
It kept saying server error. It kept saying system maintenance. They were on the phone with the company, and they couldn't get it to work. It was ridiculous. And then he goes like a week later onto Tony's show, and they completely fry. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting the name of it. The Rodecaster Pro recording board.
Oh no.
An $900 board.
Yeah.
It just dies while they start talking about it. So we have a whole big like 5-hour episode on it on our show, and it's on Tony. It's the same episode across all. We did it.
It's a great episode. That it's great.
So when we get down there, so we all go and hang out with Tony at his studio. I rented a house that we all shared. Uncomfortable Eric and Joel, and the power goes out, and it's just 4 houses around us and us. It's like they're super weird. It's just that topic took on
a whole life of its own.
And that's the quietest episode I've ever been on for me, because it's just like I experienced all this, and I'm like, I don't know nothing about this stuff.
Speechless.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just here because I was asked to be here.
Yeah. It was a crazy time.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's wild. My version of that is, it's this weird thing where like it was half affecting my life because it turned into a podcast episode. I was reading a book by David Weatherly about Iowa cryptids, and there was a phrase in it about the Iowa Bigfoot Information Center. And then I was like, holy mackerel, what is that? I've never heard about this. And then I just went, that meme where it's like Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he's in front of the board with the red lines. Like I spent a solid 3 months heads down trying to figure out like what that was back in the 70s. And actually, hold on, give me a second. Okay. Yeah, I can say, I tracked down, like, one of the dudes is still alive. I tracked down where he is, and like it turned into this wild and crazy adventure that is still going on to this day. And like, it's seriously like has affected my life. And it's just like, sometimes you just get wrapped into this, like, figure out the mystery, but you're like, how far do you let yourself go? Because the line between podcasting and researcher sometimes becomes blurred / journalist. And it's like, how far do you let yourself go before you start affecting it? It's crazy, dude. But yeah, it sometimes happens. And actually that's the most fun, I think.
Oh, I agree with that.
I get hyper obsessive.
Oh
yeah.
Goodness, me too. Oh, dude, it's to a fault. Like, I'll go down to the living room, talk to my wife, and I'll just start unloading. And she's like, dude, what are you doing up there?
Yeah.
You come down with the tinfoil hat.
Yeah,
pretty much. So
the red string is everywhere, connecting every dot to everything.
All over the house now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've used that same meme before, but we're actually turning the podcast. So here's a little sneak peek for everybody.
Ooh.
The podcast studio ceiling will eventually be that meme.
That's awesome.
And we've talked about what's going to be up there and stuff like that, all kinds of random stuff.
We just got to start connecting the dots.
Yeah, it's going to make no sense to anybody else.
Just do it.
Right.
There's going to be a mushroom and a Bigfoot, and then elves, and then the government. That actually follows so far.
And a snallygaster salamander.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah.
All right. My final question for you.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for this one?
I sure am. I hope.
What is one of your favorite encounters you've gotten? Not just because of the encounter itself, but maybe something around the encounter. Like a personal story of somebody you knew, anything like that. I love off the topic questions because
That's a really
podcasting.
That's a really good question.
It's great for silence because everybody
really
loves audio silence.
It is the best. Yeah, you love audio silence as a podcaster.
I always sing to fill the gaps. And I feel like I just got home, and I feel like I'll never be alone.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay.
I got one.
Good. I didn't know any more lyrics after that.
Yeah, I was like, he's gonna run out. I will say, the closest I can get to an answer for you is just because I really like this story, this encounter story, because it came from a gentleman that you would not expect this to come from. So this comes from Dr. Jeff Meldrum. And back in the day, I used to do Bigfoot Society is totally evolving all the time. So I used to do like split up the episodes, and then I would do like a after show thing, and stuff would get really wild and crazy in those after, because I would just like throw out like crazy stuff to these like Bigfoot researchers. And turns out, and this is public, it's on my YouTube channel. It's the second part of the interview. So if you want to listen to it, I'm not like, throwing Dr. Meldrum under the bus, but he literally shares a story about how he's at a cabin up in Wyoming, I believe. And he wakes up one night and there is a giant owl creature standing next to his bed. Wow. And I would have never thought that story would have, like, I would have never bet that Dr. Meldrum would have a story like that. But I was like, what? This is nuts. This is absolutely crazy.
2 million guesses, and I would have never guessed him.
Exactly. That's the most fun, the most original that I've received. I do, man. I get so many because I've started this thing now where on Sunday nights on YouTube, I'll do this like live call-in show, and I'll just put a phone number out there. It's kind of like, people say it's like old school Art Bell, but like the stuff that people are calling in with is nuts. But the most fun that just totally blew me away was definitely Dr. Meldrum talking about a giant owl man creature next to his bed.
Listen to that.
Oh yeah. It's like 15 minutes too. And he talks about seeing a UFO when he was on a date as a teenager or college age, like really weird stuff. It's awesome. So that's mine.
My best experience with Dr. Meldrum was suggesting breakfast, and he picked it.
Oh,
at the Ohio Bigfoot
guy.
Conference, I told him to get the Bigfoot bagel. It was the best bang for your buck, and he did. No, so I think the best personal, I guess for my way I phrased it, I'm going to steal this one because you stole mine last time, is our buddy Greg. So he was one of our earlier interviews.
Mhm.
He was our first in-studio interview, right?
Yep.
Because he lives 3 houses down.
Nice.
He graduated with my dad. He's been a family friend forever. He didn't know I had a Bigfoot encounter. Me and my dad had a Bigfoot encounter, and we didn't know he had one. And literally through doing the show, he kind of just came up. He's like, I didn't know you guys talk about this all the time. And do you do this stuff? And we're like, oh, yeah. He's like, well, I had an encounter. And I'm like, would you like to come on the show? He's like, yeah, if just because it's you guys. I hate when it does that, but personal family friend. And he's like, so he comes in and we go through his encounter. It's an amazing encounter. Probably one of the close, like he could have touched it. He thought it was a cow. That's the name of the episode. I thought it was a cow. Because there was cows out that previous day in the same spot. And so he's seen this big hairy creature in the ditch. So he's slowing down to get out to help get this cow back in. And it stood up and there's a whole encounter there. Turns out though, it was the same year I had my Bigfoot encounter.
Oh man.
Same summer, about a quarter mile away. So most likely, just from my guessing, it was probably the same individual. It was the same size, same bulk. I'm going to say it was probably the same individual because I don't think we have a whole lot of individuals in Northwest Ohio, specifically in Hardin County.
Specifically
a quarter
within,
mile away.
Yeah, within a mile. Yeah.
The same month that we probably had ours. That's probably for that, like just doing this show, it's so weird because we've had people reach out. Like we just recorded an Australian one this morning. So we've had people, reach out from Sweden, Australia, UK. But
wow.
That one, literally 3 houses that way.
Someone we both known for a long time.
Forever.
And didn't know he had something.
You got one, Jay? I took that one.
Probably, it might not be necessarily the story itself, but how we got the story was our interview with Noah.
Oh, yeah?
Just the way we're driving down in Loveland, Ohio, doing a frogman.
Nice.
Where we go to on location sites and we
go have fun.
Yeah, just have fun, record some videos at the sites where things actually happened. And while doing that, we're driving around Loveland and this guy just like pulls up beside our car and we have big magnets on the side of our car with the podcast on it. And he's just like big, like eyes are big and he's like looking down, pointing at it. And we're at a red light. And he rolls down his window and he's like, what do you even say?
He's like, I'm going to call.
Yeah.
That's
like,
amazing.
You want a card? And he's like, yeah.
We just got this brand new box of cards.
Yeah.
So first I hop out. Sorry, I didn't mean to take
No, you're good. You're good.
So I hop out in traffic in Loveland, Ohio, and I hand him a card. But the first card I hand him was the first one in the pack, so it was blank.
Oh, no.
So I had to hop back out. Lights are green.
Yeah, lights had turned green at this
And
point.
I handed him a real card. And then, I don't even remember. It was 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
he finally got a hold of us.
He finally reached back out.
He's
Maybe
a very
month,
busy man.
Maybe a month even later.
Yeah.
It was a while. But yeah, really fun interview. He's really fun talk.
Oh, he's high energy. He was a ball to have on the show.
Very high energy. And I don't think he's
really great encounter.
Oh, yeah, great encounter. And not something that he really wanted to publicly share too much because he was pretty hesitant about doing it. But
yeah, he definitely didn't want it connected kind of back to him.
Yeah.
He's a businessman.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I can say that.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a prominent figure.
But yeah, great energy and great interview. That was really fun. It's just the way it happened.
I love those interviews.
The way it happened was funny. It was just really funny. It's like, what just happened?
It was like a Three Stooges skit.
Yeah, basically.
That's amazing.
And it led to a great interview.
And then we went and stood in the Ohio or the Little Miami River for an hour.
Yeah, talking frogman.
Picking up mussels.
Dude, I love it. That's the kind of memories that you'll remember at the end.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So I think the final ball is in your court.
Okay. All right, here we go. So what do you think the closest you've ever come to a cryptid is? And you can spin that however you want.
Oh, okay.
You go first.
Well, yeah, because we know yours. Pretty much. Yeah, I would think so. Mine's probably, we found out on the show, I might have encountered the white thing.
That was weird.
No way.
Yeah, and
Tell your story, because it's the whole thing is weird.
Okay, so I was looking for my dog. My dog had run off property, and I think he was chasing a deer or something, but I had a big white chow. And so I'm driving around the country, and where we live, it's like a country block. You know, it's a mile each way, big squares plotted out. And so every mile there's, you turn right or left or straight. It's just big grid pattern.
Yep.
So I'm going around my block where I live looking for my dog, just seeing if I can find him. And about just a mile and a half around the corner from my house, I'm driving down this stretch of road, and about probably a good half mile in front of me, I see this big white thing run across the road. And my first reaction, oh, there's my dog. And then like, as it's run across, I'm realizing, okay, that's really big to be my dog. It's not my dog, but it was big. It's about the size of a deer.
Oh, wow.
White, big, long tail. And then as I got closer, I started driving faster to pull up to see it, because I at first still thinking it's kind of my dog. And I pulled up, drive all the way up there, and I looked, and it came out of like a section of where it's just a little patch of woods, and there's a creek back there. But then it crossed over the road to where it's just an empty farm field for about, I don't know, good mile almost.
Probably a mile,
Yeah, just empty farm field. So I thought I'm going to see him running through that field, my dog. So I drove up, and when I looked over, there was nothing in the field at all. And so I thought that was just kind of weird, but I didn't think much about it. So I kept circling around the block and went back home. And then my dog had ended up coming back home. So my dog was already back home by the time so the thing that I seen running was running the opposite way from my house. So there's no way it was my dog. And then, so I thought that was just weird. I didn't really think much about it. And that was just kind of the end of it. But then it was probably like 4 years later, which would be this past summer. This past summer is when I made the realization I saw something weird, because Justin.
I'm in no part of this conversation at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's seen, and I don't know what this other person he's about to talk about seen.
Yes. Can I say who it was?
Yeah.
Okay. So
he doesn't have no protection on the show.
Okay. So Justin's parents actually just bought a house right around the corner from my house, which is right around the area where I saw this thing.
Literally, the little creek that he's talking about is on their property.
Yes, it's in their backyard now. So I was over at their house, and they were just having a fire. I stopped off to see the Great William. That's what it was. It was his birthday. It was his birthday. So I stopped there at his parents' house just to hang out for a little bit, and we were talking. And then I told him how I seen like this weird thing run across the road back in the day, about 4 years before. And then his dad's like, huh, I seen kind of that very similar thing around the same time with your brother run across the road in roughly the same area, like that same half-mile stretch of road where they live now. And so I'm like, huh. So we both kind of saw the same thing and realized it was strange. And then as we're telling, so we told that story to at the people at the bowling alley where I work, and we used to hold our Bigfoot Society meetings.
Nice.
There was a guy there that he described it as a pure white fox crossing the road on that same stretch of road on the same spot, a different time period.
When Jay's saying same stretch of road, he means like within the same 3-foot area.
Yeah, like
the same
that's crazy.
piece of asphalt.
Yeah. So he's seen a white fox, is what he described, running across the road. So it's just a weird coincidence, maybe, but I think we all definitely saw something. I know what I saw wasn't my dog. One, it was about the size of the deer, but it was like the details. When I try to remember it, it was hard to remember. I just remember it having long legs and a long tail.
So, have you done any white thing research?
When I think of that, I think of the Alabama white thing.
So you're thinking, that's a little different.
Totally different. Okay.
So the Appalachian, northern Appalachian, and this side of Ohio, the kind of white thing we get described is this kind of blur, sometimes the size of a polar bear.
Oh wow!
But it's white fur. It's really furry.
Yeah.
But it's almost indescribable. A lot of people have problems describing it.
Okay.
And I don't know they had these encounters, and we were literally getting ready to do this. Or no, we did this episode because of that.
Yeah.
But literally, it's especially like West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
The white thing that's seen here is like some people describe it, it's like a polar bear shaped blob that moves really quick, and people have trouble. Like, I don't know how many legs it had. I don't know if it had a head. I just know it was big. It was pure white, and it was furry.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it disappears like it's looping.
Wow.
So Jay didn't know any of that.
Right. Yeah. I had no idea. I didn't even know there was a thing.
Yeah.
And then he pulled open his book. I told him, then once I had that encounter or I had that talk with his dad, and
I wasn't there for this.
yeah, he wasn't even there. We went back and I told him about it. I'm like, your dad, do you know about this and your dad? And I think you knew already about your dad.
Yeah,
right?
but he thought it was a dog. He didn't talk anything up. He didn't tell
Yeah,
me. Like, he's
right.
a big white dog ran across the road. When he told you, he gave you more details.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. And it just
Interesting.
connected dots with it, lined up exactly with what I saw. But then Justin pulls out this book,
I'm like, it's right there. I got
Yeah.
a book that's the white thing.
talks all about it. I'm like, wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Maybe I actually saw something and didn't even realize it.
And
And
you were abducted.
you think I was abducted.
That's
Just-
pretty wild.
I'm still on the fence. I don't believe it.
He was 100% abducted.
I don't think so. So I'll share
Our
that.
fans believe that he was abducted.
I'll share
Well, then
that
it's
story.
true.
real
If the
quick.
fans are,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right. When I was a little kid, I'd always stay at my grandparents' house. And the one night, I'll tell the short version. Like, I fell asleep in their bedroom, which was normal. I'd always watch movies and stuff and sleep there. And then when I woke up the next morning, I woke up in the guest bedroom across the hallway. But I was completely tucked into the bed. Like, the bed was already made,
Okay.
the comforter, everything, sheets tucked in under the mattress.
Couldn't move.
But I was tucked in so tight, like I couldn't move all the way up to my neck.
Ooh.
Just like the bed had been made and I'd been placed in there. And I thought that was weird because when I woke up, I couldn't move. And I'm like struggling I had to wriggle around just to get my arms free so I could push the covers off me. But I still had to push them off to untuck the bed to get myself actually out. And then I didn't have any of my clothes on. They were all on the floor right beside me. And I thought that was really weird.
Completely
Yeah,
naked.
But I didn't.
That's weird.
But in my head, I used to have a lot of sleepwalking spells at that age.
Okay.
There were stories where I would just get up out of the house, even at their house. I would get up and just walk outside, out the door, and just go and just start walking.
Oh man.
I had a sleepwalking story where I slept walked in a movie theater during a movie. It was all around that. That's a pretty funny one. My brothers told me that one.
And then Jay woke the day that Jay was tucked into bed. There was an owl outside the window.
That's not true. You're embellishing or adding
Mm.
that. But so I thought I sleepwalk and they grabbed me and threw me into bed so I wouldn't sleepwalk and they tucked me in so I couldn't move. That was my rational
naked.
thought.
They tucked him in naked.
Yeah, that was the weird part, which just odd.
How this story came to be, how I pulled this out of Jay,
Mhm.
is we were telling the Williard UFO story. It's a famous, kind of famous, kind of not, Ohio UFO abduction
Okay.
that involves literally two kids. And the only reason the one kid that gets abducted has the story is because his brother would wake up and see what was happening.
Oh wow.
And as we start telling this story, Jay's like, yeah, that happened to me. I'm like, huh. And I tell another piece. And he's like, oh, that happened to me. I used to sleepwalk all the time.
Oh.
Huh. And then it happens like 6 or 7 times. And there's a clip we have saved. There's like, Jay, you were abducted.
But yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I
literally,
don't know.
we're taking step by step with this kid's abduction. Jay's just like, it happened to me. And he's not saying nothing else. He's just thinking, that's not that. He's like, that's not that odd. It happened to me. Happened to me. I used to sleepwalk across the country.
I don't sleepwalk
Wow.
anymore.
That's because they're done with you.
Mm.
They took all your hair.
They did.
Ooh.
Look, it's gone.
It
Well,
happened.
not all of it, but
Right. Yeah.
The
it
beards
just-
are fake.
I always, yeah. I always say it's
Aesthetic.
gravity. Gravity took a hold.
I
There
don't
you
believe
go.
in gravity.
Went from the top. I know, ain't that funny? I don't believe in gravity, but went from the top of my head to the bottom.
I think the closest I've ever been to a cryptid, at least in the conventional sense of the word, is the Bigfoot encounter I had. I was probably 30 feet away
Wow.
from a Bigfoot. That's a whole big story. We'll have to get into that a whole nother time.
Mm.
But I've shared it a whole bunch. But basically, me and my brother were within 30 feet of one. Unconventional, kind of cryptid, kind of not. I was touched by a shadow person
Oh no.
Yeah, those freaking suck.
Oh no.
Those suck.
They are horrible. So that's probably the closest I've been to anything, and I'm good. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, I would say that's wild. You're good for life. I'll share mine real quick.
Yes, please do.
So this August, I think it was last summer, I went on my first Bigfoot expedition with my buddy Tate Hieronymus. And this story is recounted, and he has a documentary series on YouTube. If you search for Sabe, SABE, there's an Iowa episode. That's what I'm about to talk about. So we go to this place in Iowa, camp out for the weekend. The second day we're there, it's getting, starting to get darker, starting to get dusk. Tate's doing things like wood knock. We're getting stuff, big tree pushed over in front of us. We're getting wood knock to the side, all sorts of weird stuff, right? It was to the point where it's like we didn't even have to leave the camp and walk around because like stuff was happening to our camp, right? But the crazy thing, the weird thing that happened is, so that last night, that Sunday night, I had a audio recorder going all night long, seven hours, right? Because there's like something's going to happen. I want to get it on tape. So the next few weeks, I'm listening through all that audio, because that takes a long time to do. I found out at 3:45 a.m. I hear. Sorry, to preface, Tate is in his truck sleeping at night. I am in my tent all alone. Okay. 3:45 a.m. after some more wood knocks, you hear the distinct sound of a tent being unzipped. I didn't get up at all during that night. I don't remember unzipping my tent. That almost made me go insane, because I was like, what happened? Was someone was there something like a bit? I was like, Bigfoot, they don't unzip tents. That's not within the next 2 months. I, during different interviews, talked to 2 different people that had encounters where they've got a Bigfoot messing with a fellow lady researcher outside of her tent, messing with the zipper. That was creepy. Also, another guy, Randy, who got a Bigfoot messing with a zipper on tape in their cabin. So it's like, now I'm like, holy mackerel, what almost happened? It freaked me out for a long time, guys. That's the closest
I can think of 2 stories.
Really?
That people got pulled out.
Oh, no.
I think one was on Wes's show.
Oh, no.
I can't pull out what number it is. There's only like 800 of those.
Yeah.
But it was one of the ones that really freaked me out.
Oh, no.
Is that he woke up. It was him and his dad in the tent. They woke up to the sound of the zipper coming out. And the dad kind of starts waking up, looking at his kid. And it's not a young kid. He's, I don't know, 17 or something like that, late teenager. And he kind of is, they both kind of wake up and they're looking at each other. They're in a small tent. And it just goes, whoop. Gets yanked out of that stupid thing. And it gets immediately let go of because the dad starts screaming.
Wow.
I don't know what would have happened if dad wasn't awake also at the same time. And then there was another one, I can't remember. It was on one of the big shows. It was either, Derek, Shannon, Wes's, I can't remember. And it unzipped and was reaching, and they screamed and it pulled back out. That's freaky. I wouldn't be in a tent. And I tent camp I tent camp all the time. If that happened to me, I would not do it anymore.
No. Oh my goodness. Wow, dude. That's wild. That's a whole other layer.
That's scary.
I mean, you just think about it. They're intelligent enough to know, like, this is what I got to grab and open up just to get in here.
It's like,
I mean,
and zip.
Yeah. And then they can just use curious, and I don't know, they pop it open. That's crazy.
Crazy, dude.
it's just sneaky, like
Yeah.
it's being discreet, and that's like what Jay's saying. Is that's what's really scary is that they know. Did you have anything missing?
That's a really good question, actually. When I did not notice anything missing when I packed up, but that's a really good question. Yeah, nothing missing, and nothing added to the camp either.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's the one? I can't think. I don't know if it was Les Stroud that they would keep stealing stuff out of their backpack.
Ooh.
And like, but they would like, it would be like stuff that were buried in the middle of the backpack. So they'd unzip the backpack, take stuff out, take what they wanted, put the stuff back in, and zip it back up.
Jeez. That's wild.
Like, I
don't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
I can't remember. Is that Les? I think it might have been part of Les's stuff.
Could have been, yeah.
Les Stroud and his really unique encounters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, thank you. And that was in Iowa, you said?
Yeah, that's at a location in. Yeah, I sorry, I just have to say location in Iowa.
No,
yeah,
it's fine.
Okay.
It's to
NDAs.
respect. It's to respect
I get
Tate's research area.
Don't
I'm sorry.
get.
Yeah.
We're not. Now, well, I'll ask this, and you can answer however you want.
Yep.
Was it near an area that is camped regularly?
Yes.
So basically what I'm getting at is I wonder if this is a behavior where they know they can get goodies
Oh yeah.
out of tents.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're like
So-
Yogi Bear in it, dude.
Yogi Bear,
Yeah.
yeah. Where the quiet zip, grab the box of Twinkies, zip it back up.
That's
Oh
funny.
gosh, that makes me think of the horrible raccoons at a Cowan Lake.
Oh gosh.
The one I hit with the axe.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, I'm a man. Well, you don't know what happened to me. We had like 50 raccoons like inside the flaps in our tent while we're in it. Me and my wife.
Oh no.
We'd been
Oh,
married
no.
like 2 months, and the raccoons are like trying to get in. We have this little heat vent, and you can see their faces like looking in and stuff like that, and they just all like these are psycho raccoons. So this camp had they're all dead now from the camp taking care of them.
Okay.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm bad with tangents. But we're sitting around the campfire with Emily's parents and their stupid dog. And I'm only calling Charlotte stupid because we're sitting. So Charlotte has a chair. This lab has a dog lawn chair.
Uh-huh.
She's sitting beside me and Emily, and then Emily's parents are crossed. Well, Emily starts like playing with the back of my leg with her foot, and I'm like, "Stop it! You know, your parents are here, whatever." And she doesn't stop, and I physically I tell her like, "Okay, Emily, stop." She's like, "What?" Like, "Stop touching my leg." And she's like, "I'm not touching your leg."
Oh no.
And I look down. There's this little black hand petting me, and I stand up, and it is a huge fat raccoon.
Oh no.
And I turn around, and there's like 50 of them. They're raiding our camp behind us quietly.
Dude,
And this
that's
stupid
amazing.
one is petting me.
To
Just trying to
distract
keep you calm. Yeah,
Yeah.
keeping you calm.
Shh, baby. Shh.
Yeah.
Just go to sleep. Just go to sleep, Justin.
Yeah.
And I hit one with an axe. Because it was 4 days of hell.
And I hit one with an axe.
That's
They were hitting,
almost like
They were,
it's like Last Stand in zombie movie type material, dude.
they were they come right up to you. They touch, obviously it was touching me, but even when you see them, they were so not scared of you that they walk right at you. So this is right by Cincinnati. So a lot of these people are city people that go camping there.
Yep.
I'm from Northwest Ohio. We ain't city people. I've killed a lot of raccoon in my life, fur trapping and stuff like that. I ain't scared of you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they puff up, and it's like little 4 or 5 pound raccoons. They puff up and they hiss and jump at you. And I guarantee they were used to all these city people just taking off, the first sign of teeth. I'm like, I have steel toe boots. I will kill every one of you. You're 6 pounds.
Punt.
I did kick one because it tried to bite me.
Yeah, that's rabies, dude. You don't want
Mhm.
rabies, man.
Right.
No, they were awful. And I think Cowan Lake killed them 300 or 400 of them that year at
Whoa.
the campground.
Good Lord.
Oh, wow.
They can be a nuisance, bad.
It's because everybody kept feeding them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Oh,
why
yeah.
they were so brazen.
Yeah.
Like we have tons and tons of raccoons up here in Northwest Ohio, but
Yeah,
they
we
do not let you see them
No, they're pretty secretive.
because they know they'll die.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
But they'll poop all over everything.
Mm-hmm. But they won't let you see them.
Gosh.
And just to clarify, I never hit a raccoon with an axe. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Whoa, is that a raccoon in your room right now?
That is a dog pooping.
Okay, that's a dog. Ooh, thank goodness.
Clarice literally just pooped on the floor.
Did she?
I hate this dog. This dog is 18 years old and came with
What
the
other
house.
podcast crossover episode are you going to get a dog pooping in the room live?
On camera.
This is amazing.
All right, that's staying in the episode for sure.
Oh, it is. It 100% is.
Well, I want to say thank you for doing this with us. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this has been fun.
Likewise.
So why don't you start? You promote all your stuff,
Okay.
and then we'll go.
Awesome. So, guys, if you've, guys, gals, and pals, if you've had fun listening to this, and you're not already checking out Bigfoot Society, check out Bigfoot Society. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe. If you want to see where all the links are, you can go to BigfootSocietyPodcast.com. I do stuff on Instagram, TikTok. I said during the podcast earlier, if you like old school Art Bell, I do a live call-in show on Sunday night, 7:30 to 8:30 Central Standard Time. You can call in. You can see it live on YouTube. And I want people to call in, share your story, your weird encounter story. I've got people calling in. They've never shared their story before.
That's awesome.
But if you like interviews that have to do with cryptids, weird stuff, I'm going to start interviewing people about not just cryptids, but also things like giants, different subjects like that. I'm going to start getting out into the world of the weird. Bigfoot Society is going to change a little bit mid-December, and you're going to love it. So I'll see you guys around. Also, for my listeners, check out Cryptids of the Corn. These guys will change your life. Guys, do me a favor. Go over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe to these guys, and I'm going to take something from Tony Merkel, which is rate them 5 stars if they deserve it, which they do. And then in the comments say, hey, Bigfoot Society sent me. Because that's just kind of funny to do. So, but seriously, guys, check these guys out. They're great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for all your listeners, like you said, you can find us on all the Spotify, Apple, pretty much all the podcast platforms we're on. I don't think we missed any. We have Facebook. We do a live coffee and cryptids show, or cryptids and coffee. It's very late here. We do a live every Tuesday at 9 a.m. unless otherwise posted. We do some evening ones too. And that's kind of like a hangout sesh. You just talk about whatever. Like last week's episode was all about homestead prepping. And then what else? We got into a conspiracy at the end. What's it? It was JFK.
Oh, that's right.
JFK assassination. It was homestead prepping and JFK assassination last week.
Talk about everything. Anything that comes to mind. It's very organic.
It's very, very much. We do have YouTube, and we're starting to do some exclusive YouTube stuff. It's Cryptids of the Corn, same as everything else. We have Patreon. That's a lot of fun.
Cryptidsofthecorn.com/Patreon.
Oh, cryptidsofthecorn.com. Yeah, I built a website. Jay likes pushing it more than I do. But yeah, we do have a website, I think. So we have all the stuff and things. Once again, our listeners, check out the Bigfoot Society podcast. It's amazing. You'll have a lot of fun. And who doesn't love Art Bell style stuff? And you said that's Sundays?
So Sunday night, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
So everybody in our, I know we have a lot of listeners in our time zone. So that's 8:30 to 9:30 here.
Yeah, Eastern Standard Time.
Would you say it's 7th?
Yes, you're right.
I don't know. I'm getting really tired, and it's starting not to make sense anymore. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 to 9:30.
And you can watch live on YouTube. The phone number to call in at that time is 515-809-0165, but that's all in the YouTube description that you're watching live there.
And don't make the mistake I did, is watch it on Facebook and comment and be like, I don't understand why nobody can see me.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because I had a whole conversation with nobody.
Because it was already over.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I messaged you about that because me and Emily are sitting in bed, and she's like, what are you watching? I'm like, I'm watching Bigfoot Society stuff, and I'm like, I keep commenting, but nobody's saying
Facebook
anything.
sucks with the whole StreamYard integration.
Yeah.
thing.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, this. Anyway.
All right. So we have a tradition on our show. If you'd like to share it with us,
Okay.
anytime we have anybody on, and I know this is going to be on both of our feeds, but we like to end the episode by counting down and yelling "bye." It's just
Okay.
it's as loud as you can. We like to try to break the mics. Jay got close. He threw his mic across the room a couple weeks ago, and it's attached to the table, and it was impressive.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Bigfoot Society. If you like the show, please review and rate it 5 stars on iTunes. Hit the share button and send this episode to all your friends on social media. Subscribe to Bigfoot Society wherever you listen to podcasts. It doesn't cost a thing. Pick up a Bigfoot Society shirt or enamel pin over on our Etsy page, and people will tell you all about their Bigfoot sightings when you wear it. At least that's what people tell us. That's what happens. If you'd like to become an official member of Bigfoot Society with a membership card, a community of like-minded individuals, and extra content each month, then please consider becoming a supporter of the podcast by going to www.patreon.com/The Bigfoot Society. Thanks for listening.
By giving, people will be helping Nationwide Children's Hospital find cures, brighten patients' holidays, and people will be able to support their neighbors when they need it most. When they donate, they will activate in real time a butterfly-inspired light show for patients this holiday season. They will add holiday cheer to the lives of kids who really need a reason to smile. No one wants to think about their child being sick, but should that day come, the donation they make this year could help the care their child could need in the future. Please give now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
I'm Erlon Woods.
I'm Nigel Poor. We're the hosts and creators of Ear Hustle from PRX's Radiotopia.
When we met, I was doing time at San Quentin State Prison in California.
And I was coming in as a volunteer. The stories we tell are probably not what people expect from a prison podcast.
Like cooking meals in a prison cell,
keeping little pets,
prison nicknames,
and trying to be a parent from inside.
Stories about life on the inside, shared by those who live it.
Find Ear Hustle wherever you get your podcasts.